Hello guys, welcome to Crunchy Tales. I am Gemma, your snack time movie companion. Today's movie is The War Between the Land and Sea. At the beginning of the story, we see a storm rising from the sea. But today, it was not raining water, it was raining plastic and other waste. At that moment, we see Barbara and her daughter traveling in a car on the road. Seeing this strange sight, Barbara called her ex-husband. As soon as Berkeley picked up the phone, he told them to come back quickly. But halfway through, they got stuck in traffic. Barbara told her daughter to run into a nearby building. Berkeley, who was standing outside, saw an anchor about to fall on his daughter. He immediately ran forward and saved her. Soon after, Barbara arrived as well and the family reunited. The authorities had no way to stop this strange situation. Everyone could only stare at the sky filled with plastic. Among the garbage coming out of the sea was the Titanic itself, which finally reached New York after 114 years. All these strange events began when some fishermen went out to catch fish. As soon as they cast their nets along with the fish, they also caught a strange sea creature. Then we see Berkeley, who receives news of an oil leak in the sea. He was assigned to work on cleanup operations along with the British Army. On his way to the mission, he passed through London to safely drop his daughter Kirby at her mother's place. After saying goodbye to his daughter and ex-wife, Berkeley went to the airport with Sergeant Hannah and boarded a military plane. Soon, he reached a secret facility where the dead body of the sea creature was kept. There, he learned that the creature had been found about 3 miles from the shore. When the fishermen saw the monster coming out of the net, they shot it and tried to sell its body on the internet. However, the colonel took timely action, covered up the case, and bought the body so the army could research it. Pierce mentioned that ancient stories spoke of such sea creatures. Their species was called Homo aqua. When scientists examined the body, they found a pearl beneath the creature's throat, exactly like the one found in a previous specimen. To communicate with these underwater beings, the army set up camps in the mountains and sent signals using a special machine. After dark, while everyone else slept, Morgan and Sarah were assigned to guard the Homo aqua body. Around 2:30 a.m., both sensed that something was wrong. Suddenly, water began filling the ground, and Sarah started sinking as she moved forward. Morgan tried to save her and reached out his hand, but something forcefully dragged Sarah downward. Within seconds, Morgan was pulled down as well. Before disappearing, he called for help, but the other soldiers arrived too late, and the body had been stolen. An alarm went off, waking all the soldiers. When the general reached the tent, Morgan and Sarah were nowhere to be found. Trying to contact them over the radio, he discovered the radio itself was underground. After the monsters left, the ground hardened again. As Pierce bent down to inspect, he found Morgan's hand. At that moment, Berkeley realized he had been sent on an extremely dangerous mission. He asked what kind of creature this was. Sarah explained that their team's job was to communicate with unknown beings. Homo aqua were not aliens. They existed on Earth long before humans, and had lived underwater for thousands of years. They had awakened again, and wanted to reclaim the planet. That night, the army saw Homo aqua approaching from the sea. The general ordered the soldiers to lower their weapons, because he wanted to talk. Using a translation device, Pierce spoke to the creature and invited it for a meeting. The creature was furious because one of its people had been killed by fishermen. Pierce replied that he too had lost 2 soldiers. Eventually, both sides agreed to a peace treaty to stop killing each other. Even after the agreement, the fishman said they were tired of living in hiding. At that moment, people across the world saw Homo aqua emerge openly for the first time. They claimed they had existed before humans, and that this world belonged to them too. The first official meeting between the 2 species took place in London. A bridge called the Waterway was built, connecting land and water. When everyone reached their positions, Gate ordered the engineers to activate the waterway. Along with Homo aqua, 3 other strange beings arrived: a giant fish, a mermaid, and a woman who looked human. Soon, Salt learned the human language and began understanding the ambassador. At the start of the meeting, Salt explained why she had come. Long ago, when she was about to give birth, oil spilled from a human ship and poisoned the area. Jonathan tried to calm the meeting, saying humans wanted to correct their mistakes. But Salt ignored him. She said she would only speak to Berkeley, because he was the only human who had shown respect to a dead Homo aqua. To understand why Homo aqua wanted Berkeley as their ambassador, Gate interrogated him and examined every detail of his life. Jonathan's attempt to become the ambassador failed, because Salt only wanted Berkeley. That's why the unit's president told Berkeley she would prepare him for this role. When Berkeley reached the hotel where he would stay, he noticed extremely tight security. Inside his room, his daughter and ex-wife were already there. When Barbara learned that Berkeley had been chosen to negotiate with Homo Aqua, she was shocked. Meanwhile, Gate wondered what she would do if a war broke out. At the scheduled time, Berkeley went to meet Homo Aqua. After the initial conversation, Salt asked for a glass of water from the River Thames. Agents rushed to fetch it. When the glass arrived, Berkeley tried to hand it to Salt, but she said, "This water is for you." Berkeley froze, unsure what to do. Instead of drinking the water, he began reading a speech displayed on the screen. But when Salt said she didn't want a rehearsed speech, Berkeley abandoned the script. He said polluted water and soil were the result of human foolishness, accepting humanity's mistakes. He admitted that humans had ruined the earth, but now wanted to fix the damage. Hearing this, Salt said, "I like you." That night in the hotel room, Berkeley saw his daughter awake and realized she couldn't sleep. She was worried about her father. Seeing her unease, Berkeley said he would send her home the next day, so she wouldn't be stuck in the hotel. Kirby replied that she wanted to stay with her father. The next morning, during their third meeting, Berkeley explained that world leaders had consulted climate scientists and private companies to develop a plan to restore the oceans. According to data and projections, pollution could be reduced by 50% by 2065. But when Salt learned it would take 40 years just to cut pollution in half, she rejected the proposal outright. She said her people were dying every day because of human negligence. They could barely see or hear anymore. Hearing this, Berkeley realized she was right. He had no choice but to apologize. He then suggested that if both species worked together, the mission could be completed faster. Salt agreed. Suddenly, a massive storm began, and countries around the world noticed changes in the sea. All the waste humans had dumped into the oceans returned to land. Plastic and garbage began falling from the sky, bringing the story back to where it began. Despite massive global damage, Berkeley continued talks with the sea people, because humans knew they couldn't win such a war. Thankfully, Salt was still willing to negotiate. However, she said peace would only come if humans accepted 3 conditions. The first condition, no pollution in the oceans, and ships must stop operating. The second condition, clear borders between land and sea, so humans never enter the ocean. Humans were made for land. They must not enter the sea, or even the air above it. The committee members were outraged, as this would cut off continents from each other. Seeing their anger, Salt changed her voice and took human form to calm them. Once everyone settled down, she returned to her true form and revealed the third condition. She gave specific ocean coordinates and said the next meeting would be held there. Berkeley would have to dive 5 miles deep to meet Homo Aqua in their home. This was extremely difficult, as no submarine had ever reached such depth, due to immense water pressure. Nevertheless, Berkeley boarded the vessel, with General Pierce and the team. The hatch was sealed tightly with bolts. After launch, it took nearly 2.5 hours to reach the meeting point. During the journey, the 6 passengers discussed what they would do if they survived. When Berkeley noticed Ted panicking, he tried to calm him, encouraging others. Berkeley also tried to reassure himself. Soon the submarine stopped. Pierce attempted to contact the surface, but received no response. Then they felt the submarine moving rapidly, though they couldn't understand how, since contact with the surface was completely lost. Checking external pressure, men realized it felt like surface pressure, impossible at 5 miles deep. Suddenly, the submarine shook, and all lights went out. Everyone put on oxygen masks. When the hatch opened, they were shocked. No water entered the submarine. They decided to step outside and discovered they were inside a cave. The temperature was 20 Fahrenheit, and the air was rich in oxygen. Salt appeared and explained they were the first humans to reach such depth. The environment was specially designed for them, so they could remove their oxygen masks. Salt led them to a meeting hall, where her species had gathered to decide the future of land and sea. That night, Kate received a call about secret deals between diplomats. While on the call, a sniper attacked her, and her boyfriend died saving her. Meanwhile, Ted, the only diplomat who hadn't removed his oxygen mask, presented Salt with a gift. Berkeley realized the globe was just a cover, and something else was hidden inside. He lunged to pull it away from Salt, but the bomb exploded. Many sea people and Berkeley's entire team were killed. Only Berkeley survived, saved by Salt. As Gates sent squads on a mission, Shirley learned of the diplomats' deaths and informed the media. Soon the world saw a video suggesting Salt had deliberately killed the humans. In reality, the video was fake. created by the government to incite hatred between the species. As Salt swam toward the surface at high speed, she saw a helicopter sent to rescue Berkeley. Once on land, Berkeley explained that Ted caused the blast. Gate believed him, but insisted Salt be interrogated. For now, Salt was detained. Gate investigated who had funded Ted. He had stage 4 cancer and was willing to do anything to complete the mission. Thanks to Salt's intelligence, her species wasn't blamed, but she was locked in a steel container. When Berkeley learned that Salt would be experimented on in a lab, he took action. He stole the truck keys, reversed it, and dumped the container into the river. Once freed, Salt saved Berkeley. After he jumped into the water, that night, Homo Aqua held another meeting at the Imperial House. This time, a seaman named Tide appeared. He accused humans of madness for killing their own people in an explosion. When Gate apologized, Tide asked where Salt was, calling her a traitor for saving a human over her own people. He ordered her capture, or war would begin. While the city searched for them, Salt and Berkeley hid in an abandoned warehouse. Salt celebrated her freedom and asked why Berkeley risked his life. They kissed, realizing they were in love. Yet Berkeley worried for her safety and suggested she return to the sea. Salt knew her people would kill her as a traitor. Berkeley decided they must leave the city. Using his partner's help, he stole a phone to call Barbara, hoping she could help. Instead, Barbara shared the call with government agents and arranged a meeting to capture him. Seeing Barbara packing her car, Berkeley ran with Salt toward the bridge, where they were surrounded. At that moment, Gate's team confirmed the video was fake. Gate ordered her forces to stand down, but General Gunsberg insisted on stopping Salt. Realizing he might kill her, Gate ordered her team to aim their weapons at the British soldiers. As tensions peaked, Salt screamed loudly and jumped into the river. That night, Homo Aqua emitted a sound that drew all dogs from coastal cities to the shore, where they were captured using fishing nets. The next day, when asked, Tide said they had eaten them, just as humans eat fish. Satellite images revealed Homo Aqua were melting glaciers. If nothing changed, Antarctica would lose 300 billion tons of ice annually. Sea levels would rise 1,600 feet, drowning nearly all humans. Jonathan negotiated with Tide, who declared humans had 5 years to fully restore the planet. Failure would mean extinction. Meanwhile, authorities debated Berkeley's fate and kept him under surveillance in a hotel room. One day after a meal, Berkeley passed out. Scientists entered, injected him, and took his fingerprints to frame him later. After regaining consciousness, Berkeley secretly went to the shore, hoping to find Salt. At sunrise, the fishwoman appeared. Berkeley ran to her, relieved she was alive. Instead of fleeing, Salt urged him to demand a new agreement from Tide, or humanity would be destroyed. She kissed him goodbye and returned to the sea. Berkeley rushed to Gate to send a message, but no reply came. Soon after, millions of Homo Aqua bodies washed up on shores worldwide. Tests revealed a disease had shut down their gills, causing them to drown. Only Homo Aqua were affected. Kate realized it might be a man-made virus and regretted not understanding earlier. That day, a distress signal came from the deep sea, and Berkeley was summoned again. Learning Salt was coming to meet him, he broke down in tears. The end of the war was announced. Salt revealed only 10% of her population survived. She warned that water itself would punish those responsible. Kate proposed rebuilding relations by offering the deepest ocean location, free from human pollution. Before leaving, Salt showed the tragic fate of her friend, explaining they ended the war because the survivors feared human cruelty. They lacked the cunning to fight humans. After Homo Aqua departed, cracks appeared in the Great Hall's glass panels. People panicked, but Hannah saved Berkeley. Later, Kate received Berkeley's medical results. His DNA had changed. His genes were now like Homo Aqua. She decided to take him to the sea, to reunite with Salt. After kissing her, gills suddenly emerged on Berkeley, allowing him to breathe underwater. Now free to choose his destiny, Berkeley decided to stay in the sea with Salt. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy the video, then subscribe, and click the bell icon.